Yes, everyone, good morning. Welcome back to Forever United TV. The morning after Manchester United crushed West Ham in the Premier League series over in America and got off to a flying start on the US tour this pre-season. We're not talking about that first of all, though. We are going to talk about it a little bit. We've got a treble show bonanza this morning for you all. Of course, we've got this show right now with all of your Manchester United updates. We're talking Benjamin Sesko and a massive update from Fabrizio Romano that came out last night while Manchester United were out in the States playing West Ham. Then we're going to move across to football talks with, oh God, there's so much going on with the rest of the Premier League right now. That's going to be happening live straight after this show. You will be redirected to that. Then we're going to be on to Big Up right after that to continue talking about the game last night, talk about the highlights and everything that went down. Your chance to call in and have your say on Big Up as well. The mods will drop as many of the links to the shows in as possible in the live chat for you. But we will give you a bit more information a bit later on about everything at the back end of this show. So let's get on with everything and let's get to the business in hand, which is obviously talking about Manchester United's need for a striker. Proof last night again in not finishing the game off. We got the win, but Manchester United apparently are ready for a massive week if they want to get one certain man and a certain striker up front. The name being Benjamin Sesko from RB Leipzig. We have talked about him now plenty. He has been the top of the topic columns, Antef. He's literally been what everybody's been talking about. Are Manchester United really going to spend that amount of money on a striker at this point of the transfer window? Romano said, and he started off by saying at the start, really, after United were in for Mbumo and Cunha, that United would not go out and buy a striker, would not go out and spend a lot of money. He then changed to, after Mbumo was signed to United, guaranteed to sign a striker. Decisions need to be made this week. As you can see going across the bottom of your screen, that's Romano's update from last night, which says that the next 7 days are crucial in the future for Benjamin Sesko. Manchester United still discuss the striker internally, but Newcastle United have a contract ready to go and offer Benjamin Sesko. They are ready to go in and go all in. Why is it just Newcastle United and nobody else? Or why is Romano not mentioning Newcastle taking him if they are the ones that are ready to put this bid on the table and give Benjamin Sesko a contract? How come Manchester United's name keeps on being mentioned? Are they just using it to make more of a story here and potential saga to see out their clicks and column inches filled over the last few knock-ins and few weeks of this transfer window? The fact that Romano keeps on mentioning Manchester United in the conversation is interesting. Are United going to go in properly and confirm an official bid for Benjamin Sesko this week? It looks like this is big. It looks like this is going to be the week that decides what Manchester United do going forward with potential signing of Benjamin Sesko. Maybe he is going to be United striker. Maybe Manchester United will lose out to Newcastle. We took Mbumo off them. And could we do it again? Can you imagine the scenes? I will talk about this from the Newcastle side of things when we move over to football talks after the show finishes. But can you imagine Manchester United with Newcastle in the Champions League, having a good season, looking like everything is just falling into place for him to go and attack the window? Then we take Mbumo off them. They end up losing Isak, and then we take Sesko off them as well. And Liverpool also taking Ekatike away from them. Nightmare scenario for a Newcastle fan right now. But that's the breakdown from Fabrizio Romano. Just to bring it up in full. The next week will be very important for the future of Benjamin Sesko. United continues to discuss him eternally while Newcastle are going strong for him with a contract proposal ready. So they have a bid on the table. Why is Benjamin Sesko not just said yes to Newcastle yet? What's taking Newcastle's time? We know that they don't need to sell Alexander Isak to get this deal done. The money is there for Newcastle. So what's going on? Is there a hold up on the player side of things? Are Manchester United actually preparing a bid themselves? Is he waiting for Manchester United? That's the big question in all of this. I think Sesko is a player that Manchester United, I feel, know. And we spoke about it last night. He is that big risk. He is that risk that Manchester United are going to have to take if they really want to challenge this season. Because I mentioned it last night, and everything that we talked about the players' age and Ineos not going in for players over a certain age, I think comes into this here. This is the last striker that's available of any real significance in this transfer window. And everybody has been saying, watch Manchester United, watch United. From Ben Jacobs to Romano to The Athletic to to Christian Folks, to Plettenberg, to everybody involved in European football with any recognition at all, particularly over on the German side of things as well. I've said that Manchester United are interested in Benjamin Sesko, but they haven't made that bid. Are they going to just do the surprise David Ornstein bombshell on us and drop this that United have proposed a bid to RB Leipzig and the conversations are on, and then we start our next saga, which will probably take us right up until the end of the window, knowing how United work, and that'll be we've had our June, which was Brian Mbeumo going into July, and that was the first half of the transfer window. Obviously, Cunha signed in June, but the second half could be Sesko all the way to the end of the window as well. Look, I don't want to worry you and concern you and send your anxiety levels up through the roof again. The last thing we need right now is another Brian Mbeumo saga at Manchester United. I feel like this deal would have to move very quickly. I think United already know. Look, we have made contact with RB Leipzig. We know the conditions of the deal. I think Manchester United can afford it. I think they're just discussing right now what they want to do in terms of whether they spend what they've got left in the pot on Benjamin Sesko. They can make this move happen even if they loan the other players out, and that's key in this. And now I'm going to bring up stories on Anthony as well, which could play a big factor in this, and why Romano has actually said that this is a massive week. Everybody now knows that after this week, everyone's starting to come back from pre-season. We said it. Manchester United's season starts, like the Premier League season would have started less than 3 weeks ago from today. Like it started on Friday, 3 weeks Fridays when the Premier League starts, the 15th of August. It's less than 3 weeks away now before everybody's kicked off. Everybody wants to be at football clubs right now. It's the same across Europe. There isn't much time left. Antony, Garnacho, all of these deals that are now up in the air, I think are going to start to move forward. Are United more confident that they can get something done in the outgoing side of things? Can they make something happen with Antony or Garnacho over this next week? If they get a sign that something is moving forward and they can obviously not guarantee, but know or feel confident that that money is going to come in to back up the Benjamin Sesko approach, possibly, then they will go for Benjamin Sesko, I feel. I don't think there is an issue with Ineos spending this amount of money on a striker like Benjamin Sesko. They will trust in their employee who they put in. And this is the big thing in this. They brought in Christopher Vivel on a temporary basis. They then made that job a permanent one for Christopher Vivel. They will trust in what he is saying, and he is saying that Benjamin Sesko is the right maturity, has the right characteristics and the right temperament to be a player for Manchester United and Ruben Amorim. You know he's going to wax lyrical about Benjamin Sesko, and that's their man. They trusted in head of recruitment Christopher Vivel, and he has played a big part in a lot of the good which has gone on at Manchester United over this summer as well. A lot of the younger recruitment as well. This is his area. This is what he knows. And if he tells Ineos that this is worth the investment, I think they go for it. I really do think that they push the boat and go for this. As we've seen in reports, many reports going around, I don't think Romano's committing to this just yet, but he has already said yes to the Manchester United project. He's waiting it out. Like, Newcastle can make an offer, but if they were still trying to convince Benjamin Sesko at this stage, then there is obviously concerns with Sesko in thinking of going to Newcastle. Otherwise, he would have already gone. This deal would have been moving forward a long time ago, because Newcastle knew over a week ago that Ekitike was gone, like Liverpool bound. They were buying him even if Isak was staying at Newcastle. The money's there. So their issue is convincing Benjamin Sesko to go to Newcastle. And that is not happening right now. Nothing has moved forward yet. There's a lot going on at Newcastle, and obviously they're out on tour as well. And you could say that the delay in this transfer for them is probably there in that as well. There is an element to it that's obviously heavily delaying things there. But again, you break it all down, you look at everything that's necessary in this, and I just look at the fact that Newcastle still have not convinced Benjamin Sesko yet. I think that is key in this as well, and why Romano keeps on bringing up the situation with Manchester United discussing, are they going to go? They could just go bang and trigger it. So the most important thing to remember in this is that Christopher Vivel knows and would have already spoken to Manchester United about the actual structure of the deal. United know what it takes. So the difference in this, if United go in at this point now, I feel they with the contact of Christopher Vival, would go in, and it wouldn't take much time to get done. We wouldn't get the Bryan Mbeumo saga. Well, we can't anyway, because there's less time to run in the transfer window than it took to get Bryan Mbeumo over the line. So at least we know it's going to be a shorter process either way. Otherwise, we don't get the player. But when you look at Christopher Vival's importance in this, United would know if they went in with a bid. They know probably that this bid is going to be close to what RB Leipzig wants. And this deal, I think, would move forward very, very quickly for Manchester United. Obviously, the pre-season has started. Benjamin Sesko needs to be in at United, needs to get game time. We heard last night as well, and we'll talk about this a bit more, that Bryan Mbeumo will still not feature in the Bournemouth game either, but could feature for Everton. So there's the importance there. Like, I'm not worried about Bryan Mbeumo for the start of the season. I've said that all along. Pre-season is pre-season. He'll get a couple of games. He might get Everton. He might get Fiorentina. He'll be ready for the start of the season against Arsenal. But at this point, Benjamin Sesko won't, unless we get the deal done. And I think this again goes into what Romano said. Like, a week now, this next week for Sesko is absolutely crucial. It's massive, in fact, because it gives him the chance to get signed up and done. I don't think he'll make it out on tour. Like, it's going to take a few days. You'd expect it to run through the week. And United will be on our way back. We've got to play Fiorentina on the 9th of August. So that's less than 2 weeks away. So he won't be going out on tour. He will probably be in at Carrington. And this is all if he signs. Obviously, it sounds great, doesn't it? But still, there's no guarantee he's going to sign. And Newcastle at the moment do look like the favourites. But all it's going to take is Ruben to say, yes, I want Sesko. Let's get this deal done. And Ineos trusting in Christopher Vival and his recruitment and what he has told them, United go in. I think this moves along very, very quickly for Manchester United, and I don't think that it's going to be a case of a bid goes in there, a small bid, a low bid below what RB Leipzig want. I think it's going to be very close to what's necessary to get the deal done, because at this stage of the window, like I just said, it needs to be done and move quickly. The player needs to move on quickly. He needs to get in and get integrated. The finances need to be across. And obviously Leipzig are selling Benjamin Sesko and need a replacement. Obviously they haven't moved Xavi Simons on yet. That's still up in the air at the moment. Chelsea haven't decided. It looks like it might be close, but not over the line. They need to obviously fix themselves up as well. And with just 1 month left, I think it needs to move very quickly. But that's the big update from Fabrizio Romano. I'm going to get into the comments section on this now and give you your chance to have your say. Obviously, we had the late night last night, so I appreciate anyone who was in the chat again who was also there last night. Great to have the watch long and have so many in, even though it was stupid o'clock. We got finished, I think it was around about 2:20 or something like that. It was good fun and a good game to watch. We've got a couple of super chats in to kick us off, so let's get in with them. Oh, actually, no, we've got one super chat in. Sorry. Vlahovic on the rework contract. He is 25. Again, that will come at the end of the window, I think. He will leave Juventus and still hasn't decided where he's going, Ross, and could always turn up at Manchester United. There is a real deal in that, because Ruben last night was talking after that game. And obviously, I don't want to ruin what we're going to talk about later on or anything like that, or on to Big Up, because we will get into detail on the game. But just off what Ruben said, he was very impressed with Rasmus Højlund, his running, how he got into position, how he linked up with play. Again, his decision-making last night showed that he isn't the ideal striker. Manchester United, again, 15 shots, but only 5 of them on target. Rasmus was culpable for a good chunk of that. Yes, he hit the post and he was very unlucky with that moment. And I don't want to take anything away from Rasmus's performance tonight. But if you didn't watch the game, then you'll hear people talking about Rasmus being okay, a little bit better. He was decent last night. Still lacking up front in terms of that killer instinct. Like, he showed it in the first few minutes when he ran through and hit the post, but there was a moment where he could have just squared the ball left to Bruno Fernandes in the first half. It was an easy layoff for Bruno when he took the shot on and ballooned it. That is the moment where you need that sensible head in front of goal. And that there is a ball into Bruno. United go in at half-time, 2-0 up. If that's a Premier League game, then that decision there is crucial, and Manchester United go in a lot more comfortable into that game. That's the position that we just weren't in last season. We never went 2 or 3-0 up and was able to make changes and work on things. It was always desperate and clinging on and hanging on. Them decisions, that's what Ruben knows. And you could actually see the frustration in Ruben's face when Rasmus did that, because he knew. It's like, you can train him, you can teach him, his intensity can be right, and everything, attitude-wise, he's bang on point. But when you don't have that killer instinct and that football IQ and that little bit of X factor, it's still not going to work. Everybody can work their asses off. But if you haven't got that brain, that football brain, just to have that little moment inside and think, no, a little side pass, bang, and it goes. If you don't have that, then I'm afraid Manchester United are going to be exactly where we was last season. Playing well like we did last night and dominating the game and creating chances. We should have absolutely smashed West Ham for the chances that we did have. We're just going to be that nearly team again. Without that striker, and last night proved it, United always going to be struggling. We should have been 4-0 up minimum before they even got near our goal with that goal from Jarrod Bowen. And that was crucial in the game last night. And that showed what Man United need this transfer window. And someone like Benjamin Sesko, again, the argument will come up in the chat. Loads of people will be talking about it. Is he any better than Rasmus Højlund? He's still unproven. Blah, blah, blah. That conversation will always be there, yes. But what you have got in Benjamin Sesko is a player that has been scouted by Manchester United for over 3 years now, with people at the club actively knowing exactly what he is all about. This is the difference. Rasmus Højlund was a poor recruitment call from Manchester United and a lot of money spent. Look, I wouldn't have minded buying it. I wouldn't have minded buying Rasmus Højlund, but we spent 64 million down on him. And that was the big mistake from United. He wasn't worth 64 million. He's a 30 million pound striker. He's in the category with Joshua Zirkzee for me. That's where Rasmus is. Can he get better? Yeah, of course he can. But can we afford to give him the time? No, we can't. We need a striker in this window. And what Romano said this week, I think, just brings that all into focus and is very, very clear what United need to do. Sesko will flop, says Kappa. Mandatory, we're finished. Asked, I'm not sure what that is. I thought we looked a lot more assured versus West Ham, although they were terrible. Rasmus did all right for me. He should be judged after 12 appearances this season. He can do it. Cunha was class. Judged after 12 appearances this season is oops, sorry, dropped drink. He should be judged after last season, realistically, mate. 2 seasons, in fact, and hasn't cut it. I think he's getting away with it if you give him 12 games, mate. I really do. And if we do that, that means that we haven't brought another striker in because he's played them 12 games and he's our number 1 striker. And we could, like I said, be where we was at the end of last season, which is mid-table mediocrity. And that we cannot afford to do right now. Ahmad looks on fire. I'm interested in seeing Zirkzee. He impressed me later part of last season. Bruno is going to play when Mbeumo and Cunha are both playing. I don't know, but everyone was a little bit more quiet last night on Bruno Fernandes after he ran the show. He should have had an hat-trick. He should have scored 3, but brilliant goal again from Bruno Fernandes. Just answering the critics continuously all of the time. Actually, on Bruno Fernandes, Amorim said last night, he leads by example, works really hard, always available. Sometimes he plays it with pain. Sometimes he gets frustrated and loses a little bit of focus of his job. Sometimes he wants to help so much. It is not the best thing. He has to wait for the ball, and that's the coaching that's needed from Ruben Amorim. He's the one. I remember saying this last night. Ruben Amorim, I think I said it in the show as well yesterday. Ruben Amorim is going to be judged on what he does with Bruno Fernandes now, because he wanted to keep him. He didn't want to sell him, and was probably a big part in Bruno Fernandes staying at Manchester United. So it's up to Ruben, who knows what Bruno is. He's been at the club long enough. He knows his traits. You've just heard it there from what Laurie Whitwell said. He knows exactly what Bruno Fernandes is all about. So if he cannot handle him and manage to put him into positions and maintain him, and I mean that by saying maintaining Bruno Fernandes, it's like harnessing him into the player that you need him to be. And yes, he does get carried away, and he over eggs it, doesn't he? That's what he does, Bruno Fernandes. It's like there was Rabonas and flicks and tricks and all sorts last night when they wasn't necessary. You've got to curb that. You've got to get that in place. And then he goes and scores the 2 goals that win us the game. And that's what Bruno does. And Bruno in that side, who has been coached and is being handled, is an absolute lethal weapon for Manchester United. And I think that's what Ruben knows with Bruno Fernandes. And again, He was there. Realistically, when you look at the game, in hindsight, it's a wonderful thing, as we know. Bruno should have had 4, because Rasmus should have squared it. He should have scored that. He went clean through Bruno, and it was inexplicably missed. He sort of stubbed it a little bit into the goalkeeper. But he scored an absolutely brilliant goal from 20 yards out, from brilliant work from Kobbie Mainoo. And again, the goals are going to be there for Manchester United, but they need that backup from the striker. If Rasmus scores in the first few minutes and lays it off to Bruno Fernandes, at Manchester United, well, we're in cruise control at half-time. And in games, and then moments will come in games as well in the Premier League, and we've seen it. Snatching at chances. Chido, by the way, is not ready. He's nowhere near ready for Manchester United. When United made the subs last night, they didn't have a shot. They didn't have one more shot, so we had 15 shots on goal. On the 65-minute mark, the subs were made, and we changed all 10 outfield players. On comes Chido, Mount, and Jack Fletcher up front. United didn't register one shot on goal at that point for the last 25 minutes of the game, and it died off completely. There's the difference. Obviously, some of them players will do better when they play with better players as well, because that was a makeshift side, and it just didn't work for United past that point. But again, proof there that no strikers on Manchester United's books have scored a goal in the first 2 games of pre-season. It's Bruno again. The only 2 goals were Bruno. The players that have come closest, Bruno, Cunha, Ahmad. Again, none of the strikers are chipping in with goals, and that can't continue. I know it's only pre-season, there's only 2 games, but remember this, there's 3 games left of pre-season now. It's not many games to go. We've got Bournemouth, we've got Everton, we've got Fiorentina. That's it. And then it's Arsenal. The strikers need to be doing more. We need to have somebody settled in and doing the job. And again, big week for United with Benjamin Sesko, like Fabrizio Romano said. These are all the reasons why Manchester United need to have another striker in, I feel. And if we don't, then we're going to be okay in terms of doing better than what we did last season. But for where we need to be, which is challenging for Europe, we're not going to be there. We're not going to be there. Zane is in the chat this morning. Okay performance, but you need a striker or you won't make top half. Watkins only one left. Don't see how you score against Arsenal. Only Bruno is a threat. Come on, mate. Cunha is a threat as well. If you stayed up and watched the game last night, Zane, credit to you as Mel. Credit to you as well, my friends, because that is a proper football fan right there. As much of a wind-up you are to a lot of the chats, I do credit you for actually watching quite a lot of football, mate. So, yeah, you do come up with some nonsense, though. Come on, Cunha, Ahmad, Bruno, and Bumo, we're all going to score and all have good chances to score. If we had a striker tier, you're bricking it, mate, aren't you? All the money you've spent and your big season that you're going to have for Arsenal, and then you go and lose on the opening day at Old Trafford. You are worried about it. I know you are. Cheers for the super chat, though, mate. Jack Jones, who was in with us last night. Jack, legend, mate. Ross as well with his super chat. And a lot of people I've seen who were actually on the show last night. You must be tired this morning. I don't even know what's in my veins right now, how I'm actually going. But yeah, I didn't sleep much. I was overthinking about the game last night as well when I got into bed after the watch along. But Jack says, how good was Dorgu last night? Excellent is the answer to that. We'll talk and give people a chance to have their say on Big Up when we do the show. That's going to be starting at about 9:30 this morning, the Big Up show, everyone. So make sure that you're on board for that. It's going to be after Football Talks, which is after this show. I keep saying, obviously, that we are doing a treble show this morning. So we've got this one, and then at about 10 to 9, we are going to be going across to Football Talks. And then after Football Talks, we're going to be across to Big Up, so you can have your say on the game last night. Sesko is better than Højlund. I've seen that a few people talking about that. Not still convinced, but saying that he is better. Another one there says, if we get Vlahovic as a starting striker with Josh as the second, we might have a chance. Look, Vlahovic is not a horrible player. I think he is better than Rasmus Højlund, but you're not going to get that pace from Vlahovic that Rasmus showed last night. You could put Rasmus and Vlahovic together, you've got a player. So the way that Ruben plays, and United had a moment where they broke early doors in the game last night, and Rasmus showed real strength and power and pace, and that was like, whoa, where did that come from? That looked really good. And then he smashed the inside of the post. He was really unlucky, to be fair to him, last night, Rasmus, not to get on the score sheets. And I don't want to keep talking about just the bad bits. There were really good bits with his game, but obviously it's that you're going to miss. That pace and power that Rasmus has got. Vlahovic hasn't got that. He isn't quick enough. He's a box striker, and that could come in handy as well, don't get me wrong. He is clever enough to find the space. I think he's a bit more clued up in terms of being a box striker than what Rasmus is. And that could be the difference. Do United go down that road? I think that one is the one. Personally, I feel, because Romano keeps mentioning Vlahovic as well to Manchester United, so that one could have some carry in it still. Maybe this is one that will actually, I feel, last out the rest of the window as well. If we don't get a decision on Sesko, don't count out Vlahovic being a Manchester United striker. So that, I think, personally, I think would be, it's not the worst, but definitely it won't please a lot of Manchester United fans. I think there'll be plenty that are not blown away by that one. I will be underwhelmed, let's just say that, definitely. So encouraged by last night, says Babs. Babs, you were up late last night and then up early this morning. I think everyone just needs to give our Babs a massive, big bit of credit there. She's an absolute trooper. In on both shows. I love that, Babs. Thank you again. If we're going to be carried away by the game yesterday, we're going to be, I think that's supposed to be effed, he says, because I see players lacking in understanding each other, despite they won the game for a penalty and straight strike. That is someone, Moses there, completely digging out a negative from nowhere. Oh my God, mate. Like, literally, listen to what we're saying, buddy. We're saying we're not getting carried away with the game. There's a lot to do. And we're saying we need to go out and buy players at the moment in this show. And Benjamin Sesko is one of them players. We'll move on from Sesko because, like I said, in talking about Benjamin Sesko and where United feel confident in making the deal happen, will come in United knowing that they're going to sell players on. Now, last night we were speaking, and yesterday morning we're talking about Antony's situation. More and more reports came out yesterday afternoon. They were kind of buried because everyone was building up to the game. But if you dig it out and you look through online, you will see plenty of stories around El Nazar coming in for Antony. Now, this, I think, could have a big say on what happens this season going forward with United and the striker. Antony is close, I think, to making a decision. Going off what his agent said yesterday, then we heard reports coming out that he's open to a move to Saudi also from separate sources. Then we came to a point yesterday where there was a story going around that El Nazar are in for Antony. We touched on it on the show yesterday. This could be very, very crucial for Manchester United. And I said before, in Benjamin Sesko, do United know that there's a good chance that they could be moving a player on soon? Rashford has gone, and that's in reserve. That's then wages saved for Marcus Rashford. You're also going to save upwards of 8 to 10 million in wages on Antony when he's gone. But if you can get the right price from a Saudi Pro League team for Antony and get that extra bit on top. So I think United, if we sold him, for instance, for 40 million, Manchester United on the books would make about 7 million profit. Obviously, we've lost on the price that we paid for him. I get that. But in terms of how much he's paid, how far into his contract he is, Manchester United's cut off around about 33 million. United would make about 7 million profit. That alone, alongside Marcus Rashford's wages and Antony's wages saved, can be structured into a deal for Manchester United to sign Benjamin Sesko easily. And then you start to look at that front line and go, right, okay, what else can United do now to get somebody else in that we need? We could easily go and get Sene Lammens and get that deal done. Sene Lammens and Benjamin Sesko need to be where Manchester United are concentrating on now this season. Obviously, Bayendale last night, oh my God, he just looks like Andre Onana Mark II. Like, he looks like a nervous wreck. On the ball, he doesn't look good enough with his feet. That is big for Manchester United this season. And saving, flapping, not confident, coming out for crosses, he's not going to survive at United. He needs to be moved on. The talk is that he is going to be sold by United. And again, right there, if you sell Bayendale, a few million quid, Manchester United can use that because Bayendale is paid for. Let's not forget that. These little deals will get you your Sene Lammens. So Antony, right now, if he goes, gives us the room to buy Benjamin Sesko easily. And you're looking at, obviously, the likes of Bayendale being sold and maybe the likes of Malacia possibly moving on. They will get you the Sene Lammens deal over the line. And then you've got the big two left. You've got your Sancho and Garnacho. And that gives you the freedom then to go out and make a deal happen. Because I think Manchester United will actually look in the loan market for a midfielder, but there's no stress or danger with Sancho and Garnacho then. And United could push them right to the end of the window and say, "Oh, do what you want to do then, boys. We've got a lot of our business done already. We don't need to sell you. Do you want to make the World Cup squad, Garnacho? Find a move quickly and make it happen." We've told you this before. It would be brilliant if United managed to get Antony out of the door, because that takes the pressure off the other two. And then United can hold out for what they want. Because I don't think United are too concerned. It's like, if you want to hold the club to ransom, and this is how stubborn I think Ineos are, and where there is good in this, I think it is still a little bit suicidal financially. They could say to Jadon Sancho, "Not happening, mate. You're not going to play football for a year. Find a football club," and he'll be gone in January on loan somewhere, and we won't make anything off him in transfer fees. But it's like a lesson. And you know what? Sometimes not making money, and a lot of people have touched on this in the chat. I don't think it's doable personally, but I could see if they really wanted to be stubborn, you get rid of Malacio, you get rid of Bayende, you get rid of Antony. You could easily afford to buy Benjamin Sesko and the likes of Seny Lamens, and United then have got 4 key players in that are all featuring and going to be pretty much in that first team 11 at some point this season, all the way through for the 3 of them. The goalkeeper will come in eventually, like we said. But that there, I think, gives United the freedom to go and play hardball with the real pain in the arse players, the reject crew. Let me know what you think on that with Antony moving on. El Nazar looking likely to be the Saudi club that's bidding for Antony. Antony is key and could be key. Romano talking about Sesko. Again, if you are just joining us this week, being massive for Manchester United and Benjamin Sesko. Newcastle have a contract on the table ready to go on offer, but they're still trying to convince him. I think he's holding out for United. He's already said that he's happy to go to Manchester United. Can United make this deal happen this week? Big week. Very big week. We could be losing him or we could be getting him, going off what Romano has said. Massive for United. Zayn with another super chat. Gyökeres will get more goals than all your attack. Did you see your 15-year-old prodigy? Come on, you Gunners. He says, no, he won't. And he's got to be proven as well. By the way, Zayn, your club is pathetic with that video. Honestly, the biggest cringe fest ever. That tops Alexis Sanchez piano saga, that video. Pathetic, mate. It really is. But thanks for the super chat. Zayn always gets away with it, doesn't he? Because he always donates. And he is just full on banter. But, mate, come on. You've got to admit, Zayn, like that video... Oh, you must have got a shiver down your spine, cringeworthy spine. That cringeworthy shiver down your spine with that one, mate. That's poor taste. I wouldn't have expected much more from Arsenal, to be honest. I really wouldn't. And that sums up that football club for me. We were much better than the first game. Agate was great for me. We look much better than last season. We do need a striker. We do. We will be talking about that midfield in a minute. Was there enough there last night to convince Ruben that he might not need to get a striker and it's all out for this? Might not need to get a midfielder, sorry, and he can go all out for the striker? And can he survive a season with the midfield that he's got? I still don't think so. But it was a good performance last night. Only talking about the friendly, 65 minutes of Agate and Mainu, I thought it was a breath of fresh air to watch a midfield that actually were aggressive, they were intense, the passing was good, the interchange, we won the ball at high, very good. Still want a midfielder though. I'm not getting carried away by one friendly. If you can do that against Arsenal, then you've got me. But again, I think towards the back end of this transfer window, United will go out against Arsenal and will find weaknesses in our midfield. Arsenal will find the weakness, which is there, and all United fans know it. Whether you want to be red-tinted in your look on this or not, you know that United have got a weakness in midfield. So I mean, you just got to be honest with that there. As good as it was last night, it's not the Premier League, it's not Arsenal on the opening day, and we can't get carried away. And I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Get that one. Thanks for all the likes, everybody. We are on track to hit our 500 like mark. Again, please pop a like on the video if you're enjoying the content and content updates. And, of course, make sure that you hit that subscribe button as well. Less than 150 away from 93,000, everyone. Mega. Andreas with that comment there. Thanks for the super chat. Moving on to Jax, who says, Højlund works hard, great commitment. You can't fault that, but he's not got the killer striker. That you don't know if you don't know if or when he's going to score. Exactly what I just said. And you want to praise him and you want to big him up and say that he played well last night, and we did, and we was fair to him. I think I gave him a 6.5 in the end out of 10. It was a 6 actually. That was my rating. We'll go into them later on in the big up show as well. But yeah, it's one of them. It's all hot air and smoke, and then bang. What we're looking at is no end product. And that will be what gets the results over the line. That's where Manchester United are at the moment with him. But look, again, 2 years in, you need to see something, and we're just not at the moment. Look, he might score in the next 3 games, and we might be thinking, all right, crucial. But when you look at Rasmus now and the Sesko situation, which is developing, which Romano was talking about, you know that United need to make a decision soon. And even with Rasmus in this side, you need a striker. Because Chido, like we said, in the second half when he came on, I think he managed to touch the ball 5 times. I mean, I felt sorry for him. He went out with the second team, really. Still some good players in that second team, but when you've got the majority of players that haven't really played that much, like Jack Fletcher, you had Chido there, you had Leon there, you had Fredrickson there. There wasn't much there in terms of experience. I mean, we had 4 teenagers come on the pitch in the last 25 minutes, and it just didn't work for United. And in the end, it probably looked like it was going to be the likes of West Ham that were going to score the goals. But we need a striker anyway. Even if we're talking about Rasmus staying, clearly last night, Manchester United, if Rasmus gets an injury, I know Xerxes can come back and play, but I just don't see Xerxes doing what Rasmus does. The closest we've got to what Ruben likes and how Gyökeres played, and Rasmus plays to a certain degree with that power and pace, just not as good, is Benjamin Sesko. And all roads lead to Benjamin Sesko. Because United are not going to buy Ollie Watkins. I don't think Ineos will spend that money. I said that last night. And the one man out there that could really change something for Manchester United is Benjamin Sesko. And I think it's up to United now to find a way of making this deal happen. We've talked about the goalkeeping situation. It does look like it is going to be Senny Lemons. But there was another story going around last night about Donnarumma. Again, I'm going to say exactly what I said last time when Donnarumma rumours came up. And that is that he is not going to sign for Manchester United. I'm sorry. You don't win the Champions League and go from that elite level to then drop down. And that's a United fan saying that. Drop down to Manchester United, because it is. From PSG to United right now, that is a drop down. We are bigger than PSG. But we need to be back up there, continuing to fight for them top trophies before we can even start to flex that muscle. Because that's just something that I think hardened Manchester United fans still cling on to. Like, we've got the history. And we do. We have that pull. But really? Donnarumma from PSG and the highs of winning the Champions League and competing at the highest level to Manchester United in trying to get back into the Europa League next season? I don't see it. And United, I know he's got 1 year left on his contract, and that might be something that United possibly look at. Look, if United manage to get into Europe and Donnarumma holds out on his contract and United take him for a free the season after, there you go. And Arna leaves next summer, in comes Donnarumma for nothing. Then you've got Lamens and Donnarumma as your 2 goalkeepers. I'm happy with that. And that's not a bad little setup. But then again, I just think it's Man United's name purely being used again just to get a new contract for Donnarumma. Like, throw Man United's name in there. L'Equipe are awful for that. And they're the ones reporting it. I don't believe anything that publication comes out with. It's complete and utter garbage, to be honest. I don't think anything that comes out of that publication, like I said, is worth reading. Particularly when it comes to Premier League. They know nothing about what's happening with Manchester United. It's the fact that in this same story they said Manchester United have joined Manchester City. City have just signed James Trafford. I'm sorry, they're not They're not going to go and buy Donnarumma now as well. Like, they've got Ortega, they've got James Trafford. They're not going to go out and buy Donnarumma now when they know he's going to go for a free the season after. City won't do that. So that there tells you that that story is complete and utter bullshit. And it is from the keep. It's just them scraping the barrel, using United's name. I think his agent would have just mentioned something. Oh, we had a call off Manchester United. Basically, United would have just asked the question, like, what is it? What's the conditions? Is it worth it? Bang, oh, United have gave us a call. That's United in, and United are chasing Donnarumma now. Not the case. It's a load of shit. But don't forget, everybody, you want to have your say on the game. We are going to be on Big Up straight after the Football Talks live show. Football Talks is coming up in the next 10 minutes, actually, when we finish this show. So make sure that you do come across and join us there. There's loads to talk about on that one. Absolutely loads. Again, our other channel, so please subscribe to that channel also. The mods will be dropping the links in the description, into the live chat for you all as well. But you will be redirected for the Football Talks one right after the show. So stick around and join us for that show. And then right after that, we're going to be on Big Up doing our calling show and talking over the game and everything that went down with Man United last night in a little bit more detail as well. I'm sure I'll have plenty of people in that show from last night. It was on the watch along, and again, cheers everybody for the watch along last night. Absolutely brilliant. It was good to actually do a watch along again on YouTube, and I thought it was, and we had great numbers in there as well. Thank you everyone. But yeah, breath of fresh air. I thought I'd be knackered last night watching that game, but I was really encouraged by the start of the game, and I think it hooked me in straight away. And was definitely worth watching anyway. Some people would disagree, but I do believe that most Man United fans enjoyed the game last night and were encouraged by it. Good performance last night by Kobbie Mainoo. Is that going to be the difference in Manchester United signing the midfielder this summer as well? I know a lot of people are still going to come at me, and don't forget what I said just a moment ago. I still want a midfielder. But Agate and Kobbie Mainoo played well there last night. Interestingly, I don't know what Ruben is going to do with Bruno and the 10s and playing him in an 8, because Bruno's going to play every game. I just don't see Bruno Fernandes being dropped ever. And that's not me saying that because I like Bruno. I just don't see it happening with Ruben Amorim. The fact that he is the most important player to Manchester United, and we've just bought 2 number 10s in and made a massive effort to get both Cunha and Mbeumo over the line, means they're going to play. And unless one of them is at number 9, and Bruno's going to take one of them roles that Manuel Agate and Kobbie Mainoo played. I think Mainoo and Agate are both more disciplined in their midfield roles than Bruno Fernandes. I really do think that they suit them roles better. I know last night you can get carried away, it's a friendly and everything, but they're not like Bruno. Like Ruben was saying not too long ago, like he needs to be disciplined. He needs to learn his role. He needs to not overthink things. He don't need to do everything for everybody. Bruno is an asset and a problem for Ruben Amorim, all in one go. And that, I think, is going to be difficult for him to balance out in the season. And I just don't want him to be using Bruno Fernandes because he's Bruno Fernandes. I would like him to work his system and play the best players that suit it. And last night, Bruno was better at 10. And Kobbie Mainoo and Manuel Agate suited that midfield role for me. I think that was more important to everything in that game last night. Cornish Minister says, Adam, it wouldn't surprise me if Mbeumo plays a right wing back and Bruno alongside Cunha with Sesko up top. No, because then you're losing Ahmad, and Ahmad was brilliant last night as well. And he's always going to play Ahmad. I don't think Mbeumo is going to be played at right wing back at all. I know his energy levels are there. I just don't think he's got the pace for it either. But last night, Ahmad showed real quality in some defensive moments also when it came to the defensive side of right wing back. Which is definitely something that we should be clinging on to as another positive as well. Please keep liking the video, everybody. We're almost at that 500 live mark. Let's get some more comments in. Andrew says, don't get carried away with friendlies, everyone. They never really show what's going to happen when the real show starts. I remember 2 years ago, great in friendlies, finished 8th. Fair point, Andrew. I don't think anyone is. I think the only thing you can look at in friendlies is them little connections, them moments where a player will show you something in that area, and you just hope that Ruben can cling on to it and find a way to utilise it going forward. You're looking for the understandings to start building. Last night, Cunha and Dorgu, I like it a lot. Cunha and Bruno, very, very good. Then Ahmad came into his own a little bit towards the back end of his spell on the pitch as well. And I just thought Garte and Mainu understood each other. Understood where they needed to be. Understood the press. There was one moment where they got caught, both of them, where one ball slid through Man United's midfield. And yeah, you guessed it. West Ham scored from it. That's the thing. And that's the reason why Benjamin Sesko, and going back to the top of this show, needs to be bought by Manchester United. Or a striker needs to come in. Because United at 1 and 2-0 up and playing well, that's great. But one pass last night in only the, I think nine efforts that West Ham had. By the way, I think they had about 3 in the first half in total. So that shows how dominant United were. Into the second half, one ball got through United's midfield and it opened us up. Dorgu couldn't get back. Heaven couldn't get across in time. And Jared Bowen, quality player that he is, punished us. You're going to get punished in the Premier League. That told us everything last night, and there was still that little bit of an issue there. Sesko might have made a different decision when laying it off to Bruno. We might have been 3 or 4-0 up at that stage. That clinical finishing is needed and necessary, because if you're 3-0 up, a goal being scored by the opposition isn't as dangerous as when you're 1 or 2-0 up. The pressure isn't as much. You still got that element of control. United create chances, and we created a lot last night. We just don't score them. We need a striker bringing in. It is now desperate that Manchester United go out and make that happen. And this is why Sesko and this week, and why we're talking about it again this morning, is so important, because it comes off the back of that performance from last night. And that is why I feel United will make some form of call on the striker. Because like I said before, Chido is not ready. He needs under 21 football or going out on loan somewhere. He's not going to make it at Manchester United this season. He can be used maybe as a substitute or something like that here and there. But again, that's not going to develop him. Make the call. Chido isn't ready. Højlund isn't good enough. Buy a bleeding striker. We need it. That should be all the conversations going on at Manchester United right now. And if there aren't, then I'm worried and I'm concerned. And yeah, like Ruben said, he was impressed with Rasmus last night, but he's still not scoring goals. That is the big thing in all of this. Getting the ball in the back of the net. If you don't, then nobody's going to be talking about all of them good bits. All they're going to be talking about is Man United still bottom half of the table. Pressure on the manager, sacked. Ruben, I'm sure, will be knocking on the door of Sir Jim Radcliffe's office or belling him and just saying, Jimmy boy, get me that striker. We need this and we're going to move forward. Cunha, by the way. Oh, yes. Cannot wait for Mbumo to start coming in and playing also. But Matthias Cunha, honestly, quality. Absolute quality, that man is. You can just see it in his game. Little attributes and little bits in that man's game give you so much confidence going forward. Honestly, I cannot wait to see him play more games. So looking forward to seeing more of Matthias Cunha going forward for Man United this season. I think he is going to be the signing of the season right there. I really do think that is exactly what's going to happen. Quickly, a few more comments in. Højlund looked okay against West Ham. He did. Jin says that the reason why we often get dumped by the big clubs is because their forwards are clinical. We need 10 chances per goal. Proved last night again. 15 shots, 2 goals. Tom says, hard work. Oh, right, sorry, buddy. Talking to somebody else. Sorry, individual conversation going on there. Let's see what we've got here. Cunha is gonna cook. It says Jack. Cunha was different class. It says Babs. Definitely. I can't wait for Mbumo and Cunha, says Nick. Adam, I think we get Sesko. Rasmus could learn from him. And same age as well, near enough. Just shows you, doesn't it? Rasmus just isn't there. There is a player in there at some level, but with the pressure that's on Manchester United right now, I don't think United is the right place. Not as the number 1 striker. Could be as a 2 and taking his chances. And I think... And do you know what? There wasn't any petulance last night from Rasmus. There was just determination, professionalism and understanding. I thought, and I've seen a lot of positives from Rasmus. I don't want to go in on him constantly. I don't like to do it. I'll say it as it is. I don't think he's the right striker for United. But he had an alright game last night. That's all you can say. Say what you see, and then the rest will take care of itself. But that is our show this morning, everybody. Thank you so much. Absolutely brilliant to connect with everyone again after the late night last night. You're absolute troopers. Carry that on, please, now, because we're going to go across to Football Talks and continue the show there. Working overtime at the moment. Honestly, about 4 hours sleep, this show, then Football Talks, and then we're going to be on to Big Up. The Big Up link, guys, is in the chat and in the description there. Click onto it. It's free to join in. Just come in and join us on the show later on. We're going to be starting that around about 9:30 after the Football Talks show. The best thing you could do on that is actually just sign up. It's completely free to sign up. That way you can get involved in the chat as well. There are things on there that we can do that we just can't do on YouTube, so we like to spread it out and mix it up a little bit. But for now, that is everything all done, everyone. Thank you so much. I will see you over on Football Talks in just a moment. Mods, thank you. Super Chatters, absolutely brilliant again. Cheers, everybody. I'll see you over there talking about the Premier League transfer window in depth. There's a lot